All right, so moving onward to the last session of the day, that is panel discussion, building the framework for digital experiences to drive valuable experiences in the hybrid world of work. Introducing our moderator, Mr. Vikrant Saini, Vice President of Process Transformation at Digit Insurance. Mr. Saini is the Vice President of Process Transformations, drives comprehensive strategies aligned with company goals, optimizing business processes, and leading cross functional projects for successful implementation. With 18 years of experience in technology operations, product support, and team leadership, he excels in building and scaling team for operational excellence. I also invite the fellow panelists, Mr. Sushant Banga, Executive Director, Center of Excellence, Products and Insights at QDegrees Services, Ms. Reena Evan, Senior Director of Operations at Acko, Ms. Smita Dutta, Director of Service Delivery at American Express, Mr. Sathish Krishnan, Head of CRM and Tech Support at redBus. Requesting all the panel members to please join us on the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Last session, right? Okay, so moving on to building the framework for digital experiences to drive valuable experiences in the hybrid world of work. You want to introduce yourself, one or two lines, Sushant, Reena?
Good evening, everyone. I introduced myself in the morning again. Sushant Banga. I come from a consulting organization. Come with a CX experience of about 25 years in this domain, and we will be talking about what is the future of training and CX in today's digital world.
Hi everyone, my name is Reena. I'm working with Acko as Senior Director for CX Strategy and Operations. I come with an experience of 16 years. I've primarily navigated in startups since last decade. And here to share my experience. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Smita. I'm currently working as a director for Enterprise Command Center MX. I come with more than 2 decades of technology experience, primarily long tenure with Accenture and other services organizations. This is my first stint with a product organization.
Hey, I'm Satish. I'm part of redBus. I head the CRM for India, Southeast Asia, and LATAM. Been working with a couple of startups and some of the other customer-facing companies over the last 15-20 years. Great to be here, sharing knowledge and to learn more from the entire team here.
Okay, so today evening, we'll have some examples how these leaders have implemented CX and they're moving ahead in the journey in their current organizations and the previous organizations. So moving to the first question, Smita, maybe we can start with you. What key elements are essential in developing a robust framework for digital customer experiences in today's hybrid work environment?
Fine, Vikrant. So, a hybrid world. Now, first, I don't know if I'm audible. Okay. So, hybrid world, this hybrid work environment, if you ask maybe prior to 2020, nobody knew what is hybrid work environment. Why has it become so important and why has it changed the entire game of technology is what we need to think. And, today, earlier, when I started my career, we had, engineers working at the, I would say the engineers working at the server room, and we had today we don't need engineers, things are all automated. We have, so now coming back to the question, now it's a hybrid work environment. Now for example, if I'm calling ICICI Bank, I'm just giving an example, not that I have anything to do with ICICI. So if I call ICICI Bank, I should give the experience, I should not be able to understand whether the agent is sitting at home or sitting in, I should not be able to understand as a customer is that whether the agent is sitting at home or this agent is sitting in his workplace and office. So to enable that, what is the key? The crux is, the key is the tools and technologies. How do we enable that that agent or the the customer service agent, CCPs, with the tools and technologies, and so that whether he or she is sitting at work or in at home, he gets the same availability of applications, so that the customer who is calling that agent is not able to understand that lag, whether the person is sitting in office or at home. So the key importance, what I would say, is that we have to enable the agents or the customer service professionals with the tools and technologies, and obviously the underlying factor is the security. Now if I am working earlier, the data centers we had, when we were working all in office, we could walk in to see if there is a low, if there is an issue on the availability of the applications. Today all that needs to be done in seconds, because we don't need to the customer to feel that okay, the agent is working out sitting at home, so he or she is not able to get the tools faster. So how do that enable? So that the requirement of multi-cloud and the requirement of things like Green Lake and other things which you would have heard has become all the more important. Not that the cloud was not there before hybrid work environment, but obviously it has become all the more important. Now if I put my applications to cloud, and if I am making the agent sit at home and uh, access those applications, how is it that security is taking care of it? If I am putting my applications into cloud, obviously the service provider is taking into account the security part of it. But if I have my in-house applications, and if I am supposed making the agents access that from home, I should take care of two things. I should enable the agent with tools, technologies, and the security, so that the customer gets a seamless experience in the hybrid world. He or she, the customer, is not affected whether the person is sitting at home or sitting in office. Today we have people. So in earlier world, we always used to think that call center professionals need to be at home, but COVID has made all that possible, right? We used to log into call centers, we used to log in and have all our the bank transactions done over phone. So the call centers have made that possible, only because they made their technology and tools so robust that the customer experience did not take a lag. So I would say, in my world and with my experience of technology of more than 2 decades, the tools and the technologies is the element which has made the hybrid world work environment seamless, and customer experience absolutely the same.
Thanks, Smita. Okay, so we got tools and technologies driving seamless customer experience, and the second is security, right? When you're so we all observed hybrid work environment. Anybody from the panelists want to share any story you have observed in your you have enabled hybrid work, you enabled work from home? Anybody wants to share something in the stream?
So I think in COVID, that's where everybody have seen this, right? So at Swiggy, I was handling supply operations, and there was a team of about 600 people, where I got a call saying, "Ki from tomorrow we have to enable work from home." I was like, no, my team is the last. They have to sit in office, and I don't know what to do. I think we all came into the new era of thinking, how would this even happen? Somebody sitting at home, how would I manage? But I think the whole thought process has changed completely from that day to day, that, okay, don't come to office is the new expectation. And I think with that, we have come with no micromanaging and let the systems manage. I think the kind of applications we have recently seen emerging is like software which detects what's your productive time, what's your mouse over time, what's your really working time. So I think it's a kind of a transformation which has happened. For me, it's been an absolute learning. If anybody asks me to come to office, I would say, give me a reason for why it is.
Okay, so mouse clicks, right? Anybody else want to share anything from the panelists, and then maybe we can open for the audience. Any story you want to share, Sushant, Satish, or anyone from audience, if you have any interesting story when we enabled work from home for our organizations. Okay, I'll go to the next question. Over to again Reena and Satish. In what ways can companies leverage customer data and insights to tailor digital experiences that resonate with changing needs and preferences of customers?
Thanks for the opportunity. I think in the business that we are in, I'm sure most of you, if not all, would have at some point in time traveled through making a booking through redBus. Our philosophy has largely been how do you make bus journeys more predictable. So we want to develop a world-class product which helps in terms of giving the right options. Sitting at home, you make a reservation in the preferred bus that you want with all the options, which otherwise you don't get an option by going to a, let's say, an outlet which is near the terminal or the bus stand, what you call, right? So that is where we started our journey 16, 17 years back. I think as we have progressed, largely, I would, the point which we're largely dressing upon is we have largely grown by looking at data, right? We have about, on any day, we have about 20,000 services which we run. So when we look at, have to identify some of the key aspects, we start from the customer journey, looking at what are the, in today's context, what are the need of customers? Do they really come back? Let's say, for example, you may have X number of services, but we also go back and look at what kind of services where customers have not shared. For example, you may have a bus route where currently it is not available. So we first go and look back today in how many scenarios where we have not been able to service a customer's route preference, right? So that is one of our key metric to look at what is, let's say, there is a need that is coming in, but today we don't provide the services. So we should look at possibly working closely with the operator ecosystem in terms of introducing a new service, helping them with the traffic details, helping them in terms of the time that will be taken, which are the places where there will be a lot of consumers who will be coming in, where they would really, let's say, want their drops to. So those are very, very critical information. We start at that level. Then as you get into the, let's say, customer life cycle, we look at what are the features that they need or what is largely there to some of the ratings, reviews and ratings that they come up. We extensively look at, maybe today we use some of the AI tools, but otherwise also I think one of the key parameters or identification of customer needs to data is some of the customers review that comes in, right? One interesting, I was reading a review a couple of days back, somebody had put it in the Google Play Store saying this bus operates from, let's say, Indore in Madhya Pradesh to Vapi in Gujarat. It takes, let's say, about, I think, 12, 13 hours. But I am a person who frequently takes the services. But I need this, let's say, time to be switched to 2 hours later so that I can finish my work and take this bus versus missing this bus because there is only 1 or 2 services. So there are very interesting inputs that come to us, which we can largely share with the ecosystem to provide inputs to improve the service, right? So from a data perspective, these are one primary data source where you get. The secondary source is largely through the data on behavior, right? One interesting study that we did last year among the new users who come to our platform. So we were looking at the kind of anxiety which a new user, right, new to the platform comes in, is significantly higher than somebody who uses our app very frequently, right? Somebody could use our app for 5 to 6 times in a year, whereas somebody is just using it for the first time. We found out a lot of anxiety to them because they don't know about what is the, when they can book, what is the cancellation policy, will my money get refunded, will the services, these services be available if I don't get it, whom should I reach? So this gave us very insights in terms of looking at the customer journey very specifically for a new user who is going to do the first transaction in the app or the website. And that helped us to build our product in terms of not making, let's say, a one size fits all approach, but really customized to different segments, right? Today, there could be, like a new user, there could be other segments, like it could be a student cohort who frequently travel to their home, to their colleges where they are, or it could be a family which could be using only once or twice in a year to travel for vacation and so on. So our insights is largely built on both sets of data, both primary and secondary set of data through churning out a lot of things. And while we currently use AI extensively, but that is very, very critical in terms of shaping the behaviors of, let's say, customers as well as providing a great experience. So that's been a continuous journey, I would say.
Thanks, Sathish. Somebody talked about touch points in the previous session, right? I think data is helpful in extracting the touch points where you actually have to start. So great insight. Anybody wants to share anything what Sathish mentioned? Yeah,
Yes,
go ahead, Smita.
I would want. So data, as you said, data is always important. For example, digital customer experience, if you're talking about, the data, the feedback, what we get, if what is needed for a customer in Bangalore could be very different from what is needed for a customer in Gujarat or, in other, because In Bangalore, you would expect the customer to be primarily coming from the IT sector, at least will be tech savvy. But you wouldn't expect that much from a person in Gujarat, or for example, a person in sitting in Jammu and Kashmir. So the data will talk about it, and only then you can enhance your digital customer experience by analyzing this data. So data insights will, it cannot be it cannot be one uniform uh, approach for all customers. While we want to give a digital customer experience, we want to have that feeling. It is very important. The underlying data speaks for itself, and then you should make a decision what type of experience does this kind of customer needs. So data speaks a lot only when we analyze and take the insights from there.
Anybody else? Reena?
So adding to what both of them has mentioned, I would want to emphasize mostly on insurance industry, because it's been quite an experience to give a personalized experience in insurance, because you mainly get to interact with them when there is an incident. And how can you personalize there is quite a challenge. I think you all might have gone through an experience where you will be calling the mediator or a garage just to, kind of intimate the incident. Here, while we have a digital setup completely, I think it's more about the context flowing. What is the context that is flowing? Whether this customer wants to talk to a human, whether the customer is tech savvy and good enough to go with the app. I think that context flowing sets the entire tone of how the experience going to be designed way forward for these users. Again, design the journey very personalized to what the user wants, and then navigate it from there. Like simple examples like language. Every time an IVR plays, keep asking which language. You have the data which tells you what is the language he preferred in the past. So that's called a red carpet welcome. So I think there are few things that we could jot it down, at least using the value of the consumer, the tenuity with us. How can we give that a red carpet welcome, especially when there is a need? Here, it's not like we are having a daily need. There's a one good example I would like to say when digital experience. There is this company called Zalando. I don't know how many of you have heard. It's in Berlin. So they have built a beautiful online, offline product. You come online, you search for your clothing, and then you just mention you want to go to a store and check it. The moment you enter a store, there is a face ID which tells you what you left in the cart or where it is, and it tells you which section it is. So that's the context flow we are talking about. It's the journey and the unified language you're talking. Anywhere from the same brand you go, the language talks the same, that, okay, here it is, these are the sizes, the easy navigation of where and how to pick it. So yes, that's how I would summarize.
Thanks, Reena. Yeah, I think since she talked about insurance industry, so imagine we are standing in the hospital and or somebody standing in the hospital asking, waiting for your claim settlement to be done. So one of the data point, one of the touch point is that how much, what is the average duration your company has performed in processing the claims. A starting point to look into that if we have to improve the experiences there for the customers, especially the cashless. Okay. We can move to the next one. Sushant, you want to share some examples of successful implementations of digital CX frameworks that have led to tangible improvements in customer satisfaction and loyalty?
Sure. I think there are many examples of that, but I will talk about the experiences which we had as a consultant, where we have, provided some insights and the digital experience has been delivered. So one of the example is from a OTT brand, and they conventionally had call centers, and the chatbots. But basis the research and insights which we have provided, and they looked into it, they completely went into chatbots. And only support which is available to customer is through bots. Now the bots which they have are being trained or supervisedly trained in such a way that if the customer is in distress, it will straight away go to an agent. And if the query is simpler, it can be handled by the bot, it gets handled by the bot. However, if the customer, it's a customer who will decide. If a customer decides, no, I need an agent, then that chat automatically get transferred to a agent. It's a semi-bot, but depending upon the need of the customer or the query, the flow is being designed in such a way that it leads to a better experience. Um, Over here, yes, not multiple options were given to the customers, but whatever is available is being optimized to in such a way that the digital experience get delivered. Their cost reduced drastically. Their CSATs have improved, by more than 50% what they already have, and they've been successfully, driving this initiative. So that's one of the examples.
Anyone from audience wants to share anything they've implemented successfully in improving the CX experience in their organizations? I think this is, we all have done. Anybody else you want me to pick the names? I can, or maybe I can pick the color of the shirt. Can we give mic, in the audience? You can raise the hand if someone wants to share anything they have implemented. Nobody? Okay. Yeah, please. We have a guy.
Hi everyone, this is Amit Aneja from the Acko group. So from the perspective of being an HR solution services company, the kind of customer experience which we have given is that we always prefer the customers to get on a governance call with us. That is our bread and butter, because when we are providing the manpower services to our customers, when we are asking them, okay, what kind of requirements you have, whether it's a permanent requirement, whether it's a contractual requirement, you come to us. But oftentimes, Vikrant, the challenge which we see is in that also, even though the experience is there, we are providing and we are ready to get the experience, but the customers do not have time to take that experience. That is a challenge in the industry today, especially when we talk about staffing industry. Now, if I give you an example of LinkedIn, say LinkedIn, you will see a lot of posts by various people who are CXOs, CEOs, and they will talk about we don't have talent available. But if you talk to them and say, keep a hand on your heart and say, how many times you have really pitched in and spoken to your staffing partner and said that I want to talk to you, what are your challenges? Nobody does that. So on one side of a gamut, we are here to provide the experience we have provided. And on the second aspect, there is a challenge which we are facing as an industry, and entire industry is facing staffing. People have to be open to talk to us. So that is one thought I want to share. The second one area, because I would like to talk to Sathish for a minute, and for when we say redBus, okay, I have not personally experienced it, and I'll tell you the reason, and I have a question for that. There are no washrooms in the buses. There are intercity buses which have washrooms. When you're going with the family, there is a problem. I don't know that what your analysis says about your business getting impacted by that, but that is one area. And second, Reena, if you talk from an insurance perspective, my input for that insurance is that I do get a text for my insurance for any company which I have applied for. But if I get a call, I don't know whether it is a spam call or what. So why not we use WhatsApp to reach to the customer so that the customer experience is, it is not a spam call. It is a customer call, which is important. I may have missed the normal text because I may not see it because there are a lot of already spam messages. But then WhatsApp will make a difference. I think that is what you can add there. Thank you.
So product suggestions you got actually.
Hey, thanks for your feedback. I think very valid feedback, but one of the biggest challenges specifically in the road spaces, as you rightly mentioned, is restrooms, right?
Yeah.
Very few in the operator ecosystem really invest on buses. As you rightly said, maybe one or two of the operators have this thing, largely because of the reason of maintenance, their own staff running it. And in some cases, it also happens that the customers who use, right? We have seen in railways as well, unlike airlines. The maintenance becomes an extremely challenging proposition, whereby largely today, the restrooms are a function of the infrastructure development in that particular route, right? For example, Bangalore, Chennai will have an excellent, let's say, I'm just taking a case in point, right? Will have excellent restroom because there are multiple motels kind of thing available, even 24/7. Whereas if you, let's say, I recently traveled, I keep traveling just to get the experience of what customer actually get. I recently traveled between Bangalore and Udupi, right? A late night bus, and typically I just wanted to see how the experience is. You hardly get any kind of, let's say, restrooms, a proper restroom available. I traveled with the late night service so that you can actually see and so on. So that's really an area of opportunity. We work largely with the ecosystem to give those inputs, saying these are some of the feedbacks, these are the percentage of senior citizens in more cases where the
Absolutely.
need is there, they have a frequent need to go to the restroom and so on. So we are largely looking at the operators ecosystem to start investing on it. We are closely working in terms of how to build that. As you said, it's a very valid input from your end.
Sure. Actually, if you build that, I am a customer. Ready. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to Smita.
If you have the
We
time,
have
I'd
one
like
more
to add
question.
something as well. You asked what you've done to improve customer
Yeah.
experience. So,
Can you introduce yourself?
yeah, I'm Vandana Jindal. I'm from Kyndryl, which is a spin-off of IBM.
Sure.
And I'm the employee experience leader in digital workplace services, but employee experience is very closely linked to customer experience. So what I want to highlight is when we were transitioning to become an independent company from IBM, we, are you able to hear me? No, it's fine. Yeah. So we took a look at our tools and used our own tools for our transformation, right? We using 5.9 for our service desk. We built our self-help portals, used virtual assistants. So, shift left for the support and all. So that gives us the empathy for our own customers. We have 90,000 employees, and they are happy employees right now with the transition and transformation journey that we have undertaken. So now we can leverage this experience from our own transition and help our customers. So that is what we are doing to improve our customer experience. The tools and technologies and processes that we have used internally for our transformation for improving employee experience, we providing to our customers so that they can elevate their employee experience and end user experience.
Thanks for sharing. So great insight. Anybody else, or should we move to the next one? Okay. Smita, you want to maybe, how can organizations effectively balance digital convenience with personalized experience to create valuable interactions for customers?
Yeah. So, what I would say is it's actually a very thin line balance. While we want to give that digital experience, we still want to have that personalized touch, right? So, for example, if today when we log into Big Basket or any other website, you will see that you will have chatbots answering all of your questions. So I am a big customer of Big Basket, so I'm giving that example. So there is an app BB Daily, right? So the personalized part is while they are, I just wanted to highlight this example that came to my mind is the personalized experience is while the chatbot is there for a digital customer experience so that I get faster response if there is an issue with my order. But at the same time, it will give that personalized experience in the sense that, okay, you ordered for milk yesterday, today you ordered for this, so did you face, apart from whatever issue you wanted to highlight, it gives you that personalized experience that I have been a constant customer for ordering almost every alternate day milk. So I have these suggestions for you. You can order this on this basket, and you can order these kind of milk, which is, and you could avail, these are the offers I have. So I feel while there is a chatbot which is giving me that digital customer experience, it's again giving me a balance and a personalized. So which means that the data behind as a customer is analyzed perfectly to add to this customer digital experience a personalized touch as well, so that the analyzed data gives the feeling that, okay, the customer is so and so, so he has been a regular user of such a brand, so let me give my inputs so that he or she is able to use it. So what I would say is that while we are all getting into that digital world and digital customer experience, that personalized touch is very important, and the underlying data helps to give that personalized touch so that the customer feels that there is a personal touch as well, the way human used to do it, but again the bot is doing the same.
Thanks, Smita. Okay. Reena, how do you ensure seamless integration between digital channels and offline touchpoints to provide a cohesive and holistic customer experience?
I think in customer journey, like we always feel that we have built the entire journey very seamlessly. But the moment we talk about offline touch points is when it goes out of your control. And that is a very massive market. Like, again, coming back to be it a industry in food market or in an insurance, out of your control is the hospitals, the surveyors, anybody who is not religiously, adopting the technology. I think that's where this offline to an online, where the whole communication gets messed up. Being a digital insurance, I think we have a wonderful product. If you do everything right, your claim settlement is in like probably in a couple of hours. But where the entire experience goes for toss is when the surveyor doesn't adhere. How do we deploy? So I think when we are looking from a API integration or a middleware point of view, today we don't know what the customer is really expecting in insurance industry. So we have a very limited products, but the products are they readily available to enhance as the customer journey within India enhances in insurance. That becomes the difficult part to come and say, okay, today I have an X software, today I evolved in my experience. Is the system that I have today is going to evolve, or do I have to independently look for something else? I think one from the costing perspective, and two from integrating, understanding and evolving from the customer's journey between online and offline is the massive challenge today.
Okay, thanks, Reena. Sathish, you want to add?
So I was just trying to relate the experience. Possibly, I'm a digit customer for my car insurance. So anytime when although you don't take insurance often, you really tend to have remembrance of what did you buy last time, right? Every time it is sold through the car dealership, they said this is the quotes available from A, B, C. This is what you would buy. I would rather tell me from the same company if I bought last time saying, hey, this is what you bought last time. It is better to buy with this much of, let's say, my kilometers that you have driven with the wear and tear and with no incidents of accidents. Possibly this is the best to buy, right? So those are some of the things as a user I would like to expect purely from, in this case, it is insurance, whether it is offline or online, right? Because you have an online service provider, but you most of the times use the offline route to
Switch to
get the
Acko.
service.
Okay. Satish and Sushant, if one of you want to take this question. How can companies use automation and self-service options to empower customers and enhance their overall digital journey? Anyone of you want to take it?
So I can take it. I can share a example of a project that we did last year. Bus journeys largely have a lot of complaints post the journey, right? People travel through AC buses, people travel through late night journeys. You are exposed to a set of people who day in, day out drive, you have the crew. So we found out those post-journey complaints for us was taking a lot of time to resolve, right? A case in point is, let's say you travel in a bus and come back and tell us the AC was not working, I'm not happy with the journey, right? Now, being the physically we have not been there while the operator runs the show in any aggregator let's say platform and the actual service delivery happens. So we really need the inputs from the operator, right? We can take any ABC Travels or whoever, we have to reach out to them and understand really what happened. And this takes a couple of days, right? 1-2 days. And eventually, if you look at the customer has raised a request, let's say on day 0, we would anyway take about 48, 72 hours to go back and resolve the issue with a resolution to the customer. So eventually what we thought is we have insights about, let's say being the largest online platform, we have at least about 70% market share. So we have other customers who had the journey in the same bus as well, right? If somebody else was traveling along with you, you would also had raised a problem, or we would have got it somehow. So we said, why can't we have the signals within us to solve the problem rather than dependent on somebody and having to take 48, 72 hours, right? So we created, let's say, and one through data, we created, let's say, and visibility to the person who is servicing the customer, saying this is a customer who traveled, similar number of complaints come from the same bus, right? Now, this clearly helps us to keep in decision point for the advisor to say, okay, this issue has been experienced by most of them, so this needs immediate attention and all of them need resolution. So at one go, you solve all the problems rather than having individually having to take it. While how do you deal with, let's say, the resolution, whether it has some compensation need to be provided, was always a back-end work that can always be solved for, right? So that's how we entirely split the customer resolution time and the time that we take along with the operators to actually to give what compensation and so on. So our, let's say, speeds, let's say on the call, we were able to solve the issue. So from about 72 hours, we were able to solve the issue even within 20, 30 minutes on the call or on the chat. Even if somebody has to check another customer saying whether they experienced it, they just have to do a call or look at the service history, right? This particular bus has been flowing for last 7 days. Have I got the same set of issues is another data point. So with this, we were able to provide the resolution in a very faster manner. So that is on the people side of it. What we also went back one step ahead is largely on the bus delays. So we do track the bus's movement, right? So instead of somebody having to come and tell us that the bus got delayed by 2 hours, 3 hours, we started creating the live tracking data into exposed to the self-help bit of it. So you would finish the journey and come back and tell me the bus got delayed by 3 hours. Looking at your complaint, there was a standard SOP saying this is the compensation that is provided. In many cases, customer may or may not be happy. So we still gave an option to reach to a advisor if they still need that possibly you require. But what it helped us is the speed of resolution significantly went up versus having to spend those 2-3 days to investigate and come back when we had abundant data with us. So that's a significant change that we could make. I think a lot to do, but I think baby steps in terms of getting better customer experience.
Great. Thanks, Satish. Okay, so we have heard people from travel industry, BFSI, insurance, consultancy, and we have had some good product suggestions for the travel industry from the audience as well. Some CX implementations people have done. Anyone has any questions before we wrap up the discussion today? Okay, I think it's a wrap. Thank you. We have one more at Acko, right?
So my question is for overall panel, whatever we spoke about customer experience. Except Santosh Reddy, who has given us an example of paying off to somebody, nobody from our side has actually talked about what is in it for customer when we're looking for experience from the customer. What is there for the customer to get? When I am getting a survey, YouTube is giving me a survey, 5 options select. Why do I do it for free? Give me something in return. This is what the customer demands. I mean, right now it may be free, but we should expect this thing to be coming soon, maybe in a decade or so, when the customers would charge to say that this is my word, now you pay me and let me know. Because I want to charge for my feedback. Google pays off for a survey, correct? Everybody would have done that. 10 rupees, 20 rupees, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to large, the trend would come, and I think it's very right time for all the industry to think about that, what is in it for the customer as well. That's my point here. Thank you.
It's a nice, and if anybody has gone for the research journey, when the people go for research, they go for the surveys, they do pay.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the reviews which are coming on the internet, those may be because of certain experiences an individual has gone through. But the survey given to a brand for a particular transaction which has happened, or maybe the overall experience which a consumer has with the brand, is basis the moment of truth the customer has gone through. So if basis that, the consumers are also willing to share their feedback, and these are done in multiple ways. You can do a carpet bombing, send everybody a single message or a WhatsApp and seek the feedback, or you can go into cohorts and try to pick up specific feedback from a specific users. But yes, there are paid studies, there are paid panels, there are paid research journeys where respective users can come in and give their feedback. So it depends what we are actually looking at. If you call for an FGD today, there could be people who will come and share their experiences, but there would be set of people who will be paid for their travel, who would be paid for their time, who would be paid for their knowledge. which they are giving in FGDs. So both models exist, but yes, what is available on Google, what is available on Amazon, can be used by the brands to their advantage or by the users as well. Today, if you want to go ahead and buy anything on e-com, the first thing you look at it is the ratings which have been given, or maybe the food. If you want to order a food, first thing you look at is what is the rating. Now, whether it is a genuine rating or curated one, that's a different thing. If you bring in a paid angle, I'm sure the ratings
That's what my point is. If you bring a paid angle to it, then you would really have more accuracy in the data insights, is what my point is, actually.
I just have a very different perspective about it.
Sorry, please.
I have a very different perspective about it. When you talk about a survey, there are two things. One is transactional, and second is the journey. Okay? Every brand knows the survey. It doesn't have to come from customer. You just need to know what jobs to be done, what promised time that you have given, has it completed on that time. While this is a very good point, while the world evolves there, I'm sure from an automation perspective, from a CX perspective, I think it's more about the commitment and the time that we have promised to complete a certain transactional, expectations with the consumer. So now I think we, at least at Acko, what we do, one is you reach out to us, have I solved your problem? Second, when I talk about self-serve, I sent you a link, have you finished or not? Even that comes to we defining our own survey. I sent a link, did he even open it? If not, what is a trigger to me to go back to him to make him finish the journey or finish the promise? I think it's a two sides to it. But when you talk about Jeremy, the insights, paid surveys and all, is more to talk about benchmarking. Are you doing good or are you doing better than somebody that, which can give me more insights about? I think
Yeah,
that's
understood.
how I would.
Yeah, got it. Just one more quick thing, because in this particular, what you said is true. However, the main thing is right now we are talking about the survey of the services provided. What about the survey of the real needs of the customer? When you say what your needs are, nobody would, people would need. So what I'm talking about is it may not be there, but I personally feel there is a time which would come for that to happen, is what I'm saying. But thank you for all your time. Thank you.
Yeah, I think very valid point. Even there, for any NLP, any new product launches which happens, brands do reach out to consumers to understand what are the needs and how do they position their product from a strategy point of view, design point of view, pricing point of view. But yes, more of digitization is now coming up. We can leverage that in data, that inputs. As Satish said that, it's not about the feedback. It is what consumers are talking over there. Make it 2 hours late. So if the product owners and the leadership is reading those comments, and that's what customer is also looking at. We are saying something, is somebody listening? Whether you can do it now or later, that's a different aspect.
Maybe Satish would be thinking that if the bus is late for 2 hours, maybe $10 return reversal. Thank you.
Yeah, but Vikrant, one more point before we end up. The self-service is just not feedback. We spoke a lot about feedback, but self-service is also how I am able to self-resolve my own issues rather than going to a service desk or rather than calling a customer care to solve the problem. For example, simple password reset. Earlier we used to call the customer, service desk and get that reset. Today you get a link, you get it in your email, and you reset the password, so it's much faster. So self-service has made the customer experience much enhanced. So it's just not feedback. While we used to earlier in olden days call the customer service desk, a lot of things are you get a self-service portal where you self-service click, where you resolve your own issues. So that gives the resolution time decreases a lot, and then hence enhances the customer experience. That's what I was trying to say.
Hi. Quick question.
On top of time.
Requesting to
Quick question.
please be a quick one.
Sure. So, Vinay from ITC. We have customizable products and customizable services, be it credit card or any banking service as well. So, when it comes to insurance, my question is for Reena and Vikrant. Can we in the near future see a framework which gives us an opportunity to build a customizable insurance service?
We are on path of that. I think you have heard about pay as you drive. right? So how much you're driving, you pay the premium accordingly. So that is what.
Not just limiting to that, I mean, even
Yeah, also,
and how good are you
yeah.
driving?
Yes, it's there. So we just launched live. I won't say that customizable, but yes, your coverage or basis your health. Tell exactly what your life health condition is, and yes, it can be customizable to your needs.
so yeah, journey is long, but we are on the path.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Thank you.
I think Naveen is sitting. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot to all the panel members for an engaging panel discussion. To do the honors, I request Mr. Sushant Banga to please come forward and felicitate the fellow panelists and moderator. Starting with Mr. Vikrant Saini, Vice President of Process Transformation at Digit Insurance. Ms. Reena Evans, Senior Director of Operations, Acko. Ms. Smita Dutta, Director of Service Delivery at American Express. Mr. Sathish Krishnan, Head of CRM and Tech Support at redBus. Thank you, everyone. Also, requesting everyone to please take the center stage for a group photograph.